Welcome back, guys. In this video, we had one of our worst shifts so far. Just a bunch of long drives and no tip orders. But I wanted to show you this clip because the Tesla ended up making the wrong turn and it brought us to the back of some random building when it was supposed to take the next turn. Aside from that though, there weren't too many other mistakes. If you're new, I'm really trying to hit 100 subscribers soon. So click subscribe to join the community and say hi in the comments so I can reply. Alright, enjoy the video. Alrighty guys, so we're exiting the highway to grab our first order. It's gonna be up here on the left. We've only got a couple more lights until we hit it. So it's in this shopping center over here. If you've seen previous videos of mine, you know that sometimes this parking lot gives us trouble. It's just built in a kind of interesting way, and it's not super straightforward for a non-human system like FSD, but it always finds its way into a parking spot. It's not a huge deal. So we're making this turn in here, and then we'll have one more right here, either right here or at the stop sign. So it looks like it's gonna go in at this turn, and it's gonna pick a spot. So let's see where it goes. The Dunkin's on the left up here. I think last time it pulled around, which it looks like it's gonna do the same thing here. Hopefully the drive-through ahead doesn't get in the way. Okay, looks like we're good. And okay, it's gonna back in this time. The last time we picked up from here, it just pulled straight in, a few spots to the left, but it's doing a pretty good job, I think. It's hugging the curb, but I mean, as long as it's in between the lines. It actually did that same thing last time. It left a little bit of space behind us. You know, normally I'd back up a little bit more, but it made it into its spot. I'm not gonna complain. Let's go grab their Dunkin'. So we got our coffee and we're gonna head on our way. They seem like they're only halfway filled, like they're very light, but that's not my business. Let's just start driving. Oop, car right in front of us. He's going for it in a person. All right, obstacles cleared, we're on our way. Now this shopping center, you guys have probably seen before from my other videos. It's not the hardest to get out of, you know, it's just a couple stop signs. So I'm not gonna bore you with all of that. But let's head on our way and I'll catch up with you guys when we're closer. So this upcoming order, it's at one of these warehouses or these big facilities. I don't even know what you actually call it, but I do know that they do tend to be more complicated when it comes to picking up. Because, you know, I really have no idea where the front door is to this place or where the employee entrance is. So it's gonna be a little confusing trying to figure out where exactly we're going, but we're gonna do our best and see how it goes. Now, I believe it's at least taking us to the correct side. You know, sometimes you run into orders like this where it takes you to the back of the building, but it's looking like it's taking us at least to the right spot. I mean, that looks like an entrance that we'd use. There's a bunch of cars here. So let's see where it ends up parking. Is it gonna back in? Yeah, it looks like it's gonna back in right here. I think it's gonna get it first try. You know, a lot of times when you do this, it makes a couple corrections. But I think it's got it. Alright guys, perfect park job. Now wish me luck on finding this person. Alrighty guys, so overall not the toughest delivery. I actually had to search around that area in a little bit. It was a building with a whole bunch of offices, and I had to ask a few people, and eventually somebody knew who ordered it and they were able to find them. But of course it was a no-tip order. Usually these deliveries in these warehouses are no-tip orders. I'm not sure why that is, but it just tends to be how it goes. So now we're gonna navigate our way out, and hopefully we get a new order that's a little bit higher paying. All right, so we got our next order from Chick-fil-A. I actually was already sitting here for about 20 minutes just waiting for an order in the area, and we just happened to get one here. So I didn't get the footage of parking in here, but I will get the footage of driving to the drop-off spot. So let me go get the food real quick. All right, so we picked up the food. Chick-fil-A, we got a big drink here. and we got a 10-minute drive to the next stop. So let's see how it does pulling out of this driveway. There is a car coming, so it's gonna be patient and wait for that, which I like. It would have been kind of embarrassing if it just pulled out and then had to instantly brake, but luckily it has some good peripheral vision, so it saw. Now, just because I didn't get the footage of pulling in, I'll show you guys the full clip of us getting out of here. Not that it's gonna take very long. In fact, I almost think that once we get onto this main road up here, I think the place we're delivering to is on the same street. Which, when it comes to an hourly rate on Doordash, this probably isn't the best order, because I think we're gonna have spent maybe 15 minutes max on actually delivering the food, which at a $15 an hour rate, I mean, you know, that's like a few bucks. So hopefully we have a tip out of this one. Although so far today we haven't had the best luck with tips. So we got some heavy traffic coming from the left, as well as this purple Jeep. All right, so it found a little gap, and now we're just going straight for about 10 minutes on the same road, and I'll see you guys when we're about, you know, a minute or a couple turns away. So our delivery spot is actually 0.2 miles on the right, but if you can't tell, there's a crazy amount of traffic. If you can look on the screen, you can see that big line of red, meaning that it is just backed up from light to light. So even though we can literally see the entrance, you know, I could almost see it from just right here. I mean, it would be like less than 10 seconds to get there if there were no cars. But it's not gonna be that easy for us. We're gonna have to wait here for a couple minutes. All right, so we finally were able to make our turn in. Although I'm not entirely confident that this is where we were supposed to go. Yeah, so this is definitely not where we were supposed to park, but I'm just gonna walk over to where we were supposed to be. It didn't even line up with a parking spot. What the heck, Tesla? I'm really shocked. I don't know what it just did. We're gonna have to walk up that hill, I think, and go find where this building is. Alright guys, so we finally finished that drop off. I found the place where we were supposed to go. I had to walk over, and now we finally made it out. It again wasn't the best order. Today hasn't been the best day for Doordash, but let's see if we can get 1 or 2 more good orders before the day's done, and maybe make it not so much of a wasted shift, if you know what I mean, because from what I've seen so far, not a good shift at all. Probably the worst one I've ever had. Alrighty guys, so we're headed back to Chick-fil-A for our 3rd order. It's looking like it's gonna be about an 8-mile total trip to get there and then to deliver the food. So not too bad. I'm hoping that this one makes up for the last 2, maybe a good tip or just a good hourly pay. So I will see you guys when we're pulling in. So it's coming right up on the right here. Now see, it's interesting because we could just turn in to the right here, which that's what we did yesterday in our order. But for whatever reason, it's deciding that it would rather go around and take this right and go in on the other entrance. You guys will see in a second. It's very interesting that it did that. I guess it's just a GPS thing, but I'm just confused because if you go back and watch the video from yesterday or from the other day, you can see that we actually came from the left over there and it decided to go all the way around to that other entrance. So it seems to be picking the farther entrance. I don't know what that's about, but it's gonna pull into the right here and then make a left here. Another very interesting choice, I have to say. All right, we're gonna make a right in. As you guys can see, Chick-fil-A right up ahead. Alright, now let's see what parking spot it picks. It's gonna go in here, which I like that. I like that it's just pulling in right here. It's gonna watch for this car here. And I'm expecting it, yep, to just back in right here. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, it looks like it's a one shot, one take. I don't think it's gonna need to correct. Solid. All right, perfect. Let's go grab the food. All right, so the pickup went well. We're gonna put it to the side and we're gonna get going. It's a 23-minute drive to where we're going. So when it comes to the hourly pay, that's not too bad. It should give us, a good amount of time to collect some money. Although it is, 8 miles that we're adding onto the drive, so that'll come out of the battery amount as we wait for this guy to cross. Now, given that we've spent probably close to a couple hours already on this shift, and we've only made about 14 bucks so far, I'm not loving this shift, as I've said a couple times already. But you never know, this order could have a tip that makes it all worth it, you know what I mean? As we're gonna cut out into traffic here and hopefully make, I guess I was gonna say make this green light, but it looks like we're turning here, which is fine, although we're gonna miss the light. But I will catch up with you guys once we're there. Alrighty, so we're less than a mile from the drop-off spot. It's gonna be a townhome on the side of a street that I think we're gonna have to curbside park on, which is always fun to see how well the car does when it has to park curbside. So let's see how it goes. It's taking its time here. Now, where is it gonna park? Alright, I'm just gonna pull, we're just gonna pull over right here. Yep. There we go. All right, let's go deliver. All right, so we just finished that drop off. I think that order, was the most worth it out of all of them so far. The other two, like we know, we're not the best. So I think I'm gonna head back and I'm gonna see if I can find an order on the way. And if I don't, I'll end it here. But I'll cut to that and then you guys will know. Alrighty guys, so our fourth order of the day is gonna be at Panera, which is actually just right across the street right here, or this parking lot. So I was parked back in Chick-fil-A waiting for one more order, and luckily the Panera is right here. But for whatever reason, it's just gonna have us park here, which means we're gonna have to make a little bit of a walkover, but that's okay. I would have liked to see it park a little bit closer, but I mean, we're in the parking lot, so it is what it is. So we got our order, now we're off to deliver. If you are wondering why we're in a different spot, it's because as soon as I parked and stopped the recording, it decided to pull out again, and it got us about 100 feet closer. I mean, the parking spot we were in was literally right across from like where we were just parked just now. So I'm not sure what Tesla was doing there. Very interesting behavior on this last pickup, but we got like a 10-minute drive, I think it is, on our way to this last drop-off spot. So I will check in once we get there. We got one more turn, maybe two, until we get to the house. It's a pretty nice neighborhood from the looks of it, so let's see how it handles these last turns and the parking on the street. I do have it set to curbside to make sure that we park in the right place. We're not pulling into any driveways that we don't need to. Now there's a person walking as well as a car coming up, so let's hope that they don't get in the way. We'll see what happens. I think we're gonna be able to get across before this person goes. Yep. Solid job. And then we got a right-hand turn coming up. See how it handles this. Very nice. Alright, and then we should be parking right here. Alright, solid job. Alright, not too bad. I don't love that it parked in front of a mailbox, but it is what it is. Not the worst thing. So let's drop off our last order. Alrighty guys, so our fourth and final order was successfully delivered. We made about $29 total in 3 hours, which if you do the math, that's less than $10 an hour, and it is not ideal. But you're gonna have some good days, some bad days door dashing, and hopefully tomorrow is better. Yesterday was a lot better than today. So I really am not gonna complain too much. But I hope you guys got some entertainment out of this, maybe some inspiration. My goal is to eventually hit 100 subscribers in the near future. So if you would like to help me out with that and join the community, make sure to hit that button and say hi in the comments. I'm going to try and reply to everybody. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.